Peaceful greetings, all. Give you all a moment to, I guess, come in and take yourself a seat. Excuse me. There we go. So, never mind what's on the board. I mean, you're more than welcome to take a look at what's up there. All right. So, yeah, I think I could do it this way. So, there is this unnecessary, unmistakably foreign concept that I'll say Moorish American Muslims and black nationalist Muslims. So that's excluding the people who consider themselves African American or whatever, right? Who are in the temple or who are in the mosques. These ones actually know that what I'm about to talk about, right, is not a part of Islam whatsoever, right? But there just seems to be this foreign ideology or this foreign concept that a lot of people with hate in their hearts, right, like to project. It's a foreign Muslim concept, where they will identify anyone of pale skin descent, of pale skin or of European descent, as devilish, fiendish. They're always considered the bad guy, if you will, and I've always wanted to know where that comes from. I know where it comes from now, right? But I'm going to read into Noble Drew Ali's literature, and we're going to see, right, if this concept of division in Islam was at all at any given time, right, propagated by Drew Ali, right? And so what this is going to show the viewer is those who are following or adhering to Islam and those who, like I said, have some type of foreign concept and ideology. And let me, for the moment, move this back here. All right, I'm going to show. There we go. Why do I keep saying foreign Muslim concept? All right, so in Islam, what is it? All right, there we go. I'm like, wait a minute, man. So in Islam, right? So Islam is dealing with creditorship. Let me just, because I like to take the boogie woogie out of everything, right? And just give it to you based on how you can actually apply it in your life, right? So Islam treats of creditorship, all right, of true ownership, right, of being in agreements and in adherence with the law. And so Islam teaches, the doctrine of Islam teaches that everybody, let me just, so Muslim means white, pure, clean, peacemaker, unifier, etc. Okay? So Islam teaches that all are one, just like right? And this is the basis of what we call all right. This is what we call the basis of Tawheed, okay? And so Tawheed means oneness, and it doesn't mean oneness like this is just this one thing. It means oneness like this cap is part of the whole. It has come together, right? The plastic, the whatever, everything has been unified, brought together. Every part comes together, right? To make one. That's what Tawheed is really about. And that's what the seven Hermetic principles teaching us that the universe is mental, all is mind, and so all is one. Consciousness, right? Anywho. So when we're looking at things from that perspective, in Islam, all of humanity under Islam is free and equal. Sovereign, meaning that they were born with no debts or attachments to anyone except for source, right, which is the higher consciousness, right? Free and equal. The Masonics call it free and accepted. It's all really the same thing that we're talking here, right? So in Islam, the doctrine of Islam teaches that Islam is for everyone, creditorship is for everyone, and that everyone, regardless of where they're at on the planet, in the world, regardless of what they look like, right? As long as if Islam can be found in the heart, then everybody is Muslim. And again, Muslim also means perfected plain, perfected in the law, right? Complete. So when I was growing up, coming into Islam, this has to be about age 18. Oh, this is about to cut off. That's cool. Let me cut these off. So when I was coming into the movement, I had to be 18 years old. I was in prison myself. And we'll just long story short, because I ain't not really trying to talk too much about it. And we'll just long story short, because I ain't not really trying to talk too much about it. Jeez, cool. I thought it cut me all the way off. No, that's what's up. It just paused me out. All right, so what I was talking about, so when I was coming into Islam and I was learning about Islam, right, my first impression of Islam was with Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad. So me not knowing, I had to be like 16, 17, whatever, before I went to prison. Right, so to me, I thought all Muslims were clean shaven. I thought all Muslims were black, so to speak, right? I didn't know anything about anyone else around the world. I didn't know where Islam, I didn't know any of this stuff, right? So I had this concept, this concept of Islam was a whole bunch of niggas hating, in my opinion, right? And then I went to prison. I got linked up with 5%ers, right? And I seen a whole bunch of niggas hating. And then I was dealing with the Hebrew Israelites and a whole bunch of niggas hating. Right? And so I'm going through all of these so-called, orders, right? Dealing with supposedly the systems of my ancestors, right? But I kept seeing a lot of hate. There's just a lot of fucking hate. And I was already dealing with that from Christianity. So I didn't want to bite into none of that, right? So when I found out, I remember one day I was walking past the chaplain's office. It had to have been a Friday. They were, having Jumu'ah, right? And I heard the Quran, right? For the first time I'd ever heard the Quran. And I heard the Quran being recited, right? And I didn't know what I was there listening to, right? But the sound of the Quran being recited caused a tear to stroll down my eye, right? It was just like this most beautiful thing I personally had heard, you know. And so I went to learn about it, right? And then I found out that, other brands of Muslims, they have beards, they wear lihya, they offer prayer with their heads on the ground, so on and so forth. But what I also learned about that brand of Islam, is that showing up right? Oh, no, we got to turn that around. Hold on. But what I learned also, here we go. All right, yeah. So I found out that there were people of all skin tones, right? Of all, at the time, I thought the word was of all races, but it was really of all nationalities, right? So I'd seen all of these brothers in. Man, this keeps cutting. I know this Mercury retrograde is going, yeah. But anywho, so I saw this brotherhood, right? Now, Islam is one of the few faiths that teach of the universal brotherhood, right? This was extremely, extremely appealing to me because me growing up, I never had it. So I've never had, when I was growing up, I didn't have issues with pale skinned brothers and sisters. Not nearly as much as I've had with brothers and sisters who look like me, lighter, dark, or whatever, or those pale skinned brothers and sisters who were trying to imitate this negative culture, right? Sisters who were trying to imitate this negative culture, right? So I got, man, so I got more help in my life from the pale skins growing up before I went to prison. So when I seen this order, right, this universal brotherhood, which is because we're not going to play with it. So when I seen that Islam teach this universal brotherhood, which later on in life I came to understand as a fraternal order, and with the help and assistance of my brother Drew Ali, I understood that it is now a national organization, right? I felt like I found everything I was looking for. I wasn't brought up in a home where we were taught to dislike people because of their skin tone. It just wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have a lot of pale skinned people coming in and out of the house, but there was no issue. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't raised in that. A lot of pale skinned people coming in and out of the house, but there was no issue. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't raised in that. This is just all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. And so in prison, when I found this whole Islamic thing, right? Muslims over here, right? And Allahu Akbar. And we're doing all of that. And this dude next to me is supposed to be a white person. It's supposed to be a white person, right? And I was able to look at this dude like he was my bro. That sat very well with me. And then I understood that in Islam, your fraternal brother or sister, their life, their blood is more sacred to you than your own mama's if your mama ain't getting down with the water. Okay? So I felt like, because I came I came from the gang life. So I was able to take the gang mentality and apply it to something positive, right? Instead of being a crash out for no reason, right? I felt like if I'm going to crash out, I'm crashing out for the Muslims. Anywho, so I began studying Islam, or what they call Orthodox Islam, and what I call base level now Islam. But nonetheless, this prepared me. This was the understanding of Islam that I had. Right? It was pure. It's for everybody. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, Christianity didn't teach me that. Definitely not anything dealing with so-called Judaism in any respect. None of those, it didn't teach me that. Right? So I finally had something that taught me that all of humanity can be looked at as one family. There we go. And so that was the allure. And to this day, I've tried to leave Islam. I've tried. But then I realized that there is absolutely nothing wrong with Islam. There just be something wrong with these people, some of them who call themselves Muslim. Okay? That's all. Islam is perfect. Some of them who call themselves Muslim. Okay? That's all. Islam is perfect. The Muslim must strive for perfection. But Islam, all in itself, it is perfect. All right? So once I learned that, I was cool with that, right? I came home from prison 7 years later, whatever. By then, I had been dealing with Sufism, Taoism, a lot of the isms, right? But again, I always kept Islam up here. All right, so I understand to this day that Islam does not have any picks based on national origin or skin tone. But we have these foreign Muslims out there, right? Like the Nation of Islam, the Nuwabian Moors, R.V. Bey, Taj Tariq Bey, Candyland Moors with Cujo L, Grand Sheikh Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs, the Moorish Consulate, Rise of the Moors, and there's just so many. There's just so many to name. And they're teaching this foreign Islam. Well, what do I mean about foreign Islam? It's teaching that they teach that Islam is for the Asiatics, but then they try to separate the Europeans from the Asiatics as if the Moors weren't running up in Europe and having children everywhere. That's why we're descendants of Moroccans born in America now, because those Moors came to the Americas and settled there. Just like the Europeans, just like the Asians. We all came here to America and bred together. All right? And so we've got dark-skinned Europeans. We've got pale-skinned North Africans. Prime example, Muammar Gaddafi. He's a pale-skinned Arab from Libya. He's a pale-skinned Libyan. So the pale skin has absolutely nothing to do with being a Muslim. And Asiatic just means anyone born on the land. That's what it means. It don't mean nothing else. It means anyone born on the land. That's what Asiatic means. Asiatics and Muslims. They say Asiatics and Muslims are not. So Asiatics is basically any state national, and a Muslim means that they're secured in their person. But anywho, you have the Nation of Islam talking about, and they're talking crayons, which is the first problem. But they're saying that the black man, now for you who have followed me thus far, and for you who are aware, right? Black is a classification that means debtor. It really means the servant class. Black is an indicator for a servant class. But you have these quote unquote black nationalists talking about the black man is God, the creator, what is it? The creator, the maker, the own. Wait, what is it? The maker, the owner, the father, the civilized. Wait. The original black man is the creator, the maker, the own. Wait, the maker, the creator, the maker, the own. Wait, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, God of the universe. And they keep chopping my stuff up, man. Damn. But anywho, you have these black nationalists talking about the black man is God. Okay, that's their ideology. The black man is God, and that the black man is the only one that's allowed to pray to the God Allah. But you just said you're fucking God. But I digress. Right? So they tell you that the black man is the only one who could be a Muslim, and that anyone who's of pale skin descent, and then they say European specifically, cannot be Muslim. They even have lessons that tell you that the so-called European, the so-called pale-skinned brothers and sisters, they can't even stand upright. They have lessons to teach this foreign Islam. And then the infiltrators who've come in, right, they've also come in to the Moorish Temple of America. We know this because the Nation of Islam comes out of the Moorish Temple of America. So, anywho, so now you've got these Moors out here running around talking about Moors as if Moorish means everything dark skinned, and then they say Europeans, or they'll even be extremely disrespectful and say something like Albion, or they'll call them troglodytes, right? And they're basically doing to these people what was done to us, which is something that Noble Drew Ali told us we shouldn't even get back into, right? So they have this foreign concepts, right, that separate the people. And nowhere, and I mean nowhere, in my 26 plus years of studying Islamic literature, history, culture, right, in various forms, various brands, nowhere ever culture, right, in various forms, various brands, nowhere ever. Nowhere ever in the doctrine of Islam does it tell you that a particular brand of people are not allowed to be Muslim. That's the foreign ideology. They are teaching division where Islam teaches unity. And so the nation of God, unfortunately, the nation of gods and earths, the nation of Islam, and even a lot of, the nation of gods and earths, the nation of Islam, and even a lot of these renegade. Come on. A lot of these renegade Moors are teaching their mushrikeen. They practice bid'ah. It is innovation. It is not the true way. And they are mushrik, which means that they are associating their own ideology as partners with God, because they're making a claim that Allah never made. Never made. You know what I'm saying? Never, ever, 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 right? So, again, you can get this on the site, link in bio, right? What does Drew Ali say? Before I get into that, because intuition already just knocked on the door of my brain, right? So you're going to hear Morris say things like, well, Noble Drew Ali said that the European this and the European that. Yes. Yes, he did. But he also let us know that the Europeans were our fellow men, right? That the Romans were even called the sons of God, the Most High, right? So Drew Ali is showing both sides. And he does the same thing with these Moors, where he tells you, right, in the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, right, as a Moorish American, right, I'm supposed to assist my brother and help my sister, right? This is a membership thing, right? So he tells us how to uphold, but he also tells us that it's the Moorish Americans in our group that's going to lead you into slavery. He never told you the Europeans. He didn't tell you that the Europeans were the ones that were going to sell you into slavery. So now what is Noble Drew Ali talking when we say Europeans? Now, Drew Ali says that the Europeans are going to let us down. He says that he's going to make them, when they come together to do something to you, right, he's going to make them stop, right? Their plans are basically going to be foiled, and they would have to go back to the drawing board. He said that when they leave and go back home, like Rosie O'Donnell, right, that he said basically we're going to smell them before they leave. He said a lot of things in that nature, right? So who was he talking to? He was talking about the Europeans who did not follow Islam. And to be a little more specific, he's saying those who do not follow he's talking about these people. Those who will not practice love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice for all. Maybe they'll do it for some. Sounds like the Nation of Islam, where they're saying that love, truth, peace, freedom. So this is called the doctrine, right? This part of Islam is the ism. This is not Islam. This is ism. This encapsulates the doctrine, right? So he told us that these Europeans who were not down with this, these are the ones to look out for. But he also told us, be careful, Moors, because some of your own wearing fezzes and turbans, if you're not careful, are going to sell you back into slavery. So what's he saying? That they're not practicing the doctrine of Islam. They're going to keep teaching you division. Islam is about unity. Okay? No, it's not that different from Sanatana Dharma, or what some people would call Hinduism, in which everything is embraced. You see what I'm saying? Islam teaches everything is embraced, everything is of one accord, and that you're born balanced, and then throughout life, based on your deeds, right? The scale may shift one way or the other, right? Now, the Europeans that Drew Ali is talking about are the Roman Catholics. These are the ones, not only the Roman Catholics, but the Jesuits as well. And now, mind you, right? Just so that I don't get cooked off, right? By writing the word Jews, we're going to say Yahudi, right? So you have I think it's the Sadducee, Pharisee, and please don't mind the right. So these are supposedly the pale skins, right? But you also have the Sephardic, right? These are your so-called Hebrew Israelites, right? From what I know, all of these teach separation, disunity, partiality, right? These people love to tell you that they are the chosen in it and that everybody else is goyim, that everybody else is chattel property, right? We have Moors who do this same thing. You have pale skin and dark skin and all in between skin who also do this. So it's not like it's a thing that's confined to any one group or skin tone of people. That's not what this is about, right? So now, with all of that being said, I'm just going to read some of the things that Noble Drew Ali has presented to us, right? And so when we read these and we hear these things, it is good to use discernment to understand that there is always the good and the bad of any group. And so when we speak of any particular aspect, good or bad, it's not necessarily talking about the whole. It's talking about a portion. An example, right? We're not even going to use Muslims. You have some Christians out there, right, who are extremists, who are terrorists. Does that mean that every Christian group is a terrorist? All right. It's just the understanding, right? First thing I'm going to read, Drew says, we, meaning the Moors, have the blood of every nation flowing through our veins, thereby creating a cross spirit. He said that we have the bloodline of everybody, of all nations. So for all you knucklehead Moors out there talking that the pure bloodline, we're all intermixed, right? We're all intermixed. And evidence of this is that the white status which is truly the peacemaker status, has North Africans, Asians, and Europeans. This is the family. And we all came together, and our posterity inhabited the Americas. All right? We have the blood of every nation flowing through our veins, bringing about a cross spirit. Hold on, I got another one for you. It says the Italians have our blood mixed in their veins. That's why they are so mean. Now, he told us that the Moors are some mean, hard-headed, bull-neck, stiff-neck, mean set of people. And then he's also telling us that these Italians, they have the blood of the Moors in them. So wouldn't that make them European Moors? Right? Just saying, right? You got to use your mind, man. Right? What else did Ali say? Because I'm not going to hold anything back. Right? And then we're not even sure if a lot of this stuff was actually said. Right? But when I read what's called the oral statements and prophecies, I align it with what I understand with true Islam. Right? And so if it don't sound like Islam, chances are somebody was trying to say some shit, right? That ain't got no business being said. All right. I'm going to read on the things that Drew Ali says about the Europeans, all right? Supposedly. It says one day, nope, that's not the one. Drew Ali says, if the European be just, they would have an Asiatic vice president. So they'd have a Muslim president. In case you didn't know, Barry Santoro sounds really European to me, right? But if the European be just, and so mind you, the European is just the one who's not a Muslim, right? And we know that there are, in the United States, we've seen that, right? But hold on, because I don't even like using him. Damn. I don't even like using him as an example. Give me 1 second, my loves. All right, yeah, we'll use that. I think that's what we're used for anyway. So he says that the European be just, right? That they would have a European or an Asiatic, right? Now, Muslim also means peacemaker and unifier. He says that they be just, they will have an Asiatic president, or if not, they'll have an Asiatic vice president. Now, I'm going to tell you that right now, in our current condition, this man has already exclaimed that he is a peacemaker and unifier. He just said it in English. Okay? Yeah, I don't even like that. I'm going to use this one from here on out. Yeah, I like that. Here goes a good one, right? Because you have a lot of Europeans who act, a lot of dark-skinned North African Moors who sit here and act like getting with European women is a no-no. Right? It says, Drew Ali says, one day, your biggest trouble won't be getting with European women. It will be fighting them all. So he's already telling you that intermixing is going to be happening. He says when the Europeans go back to Europe, that the climate would go back to what it used to be. Now, what brand of Europeans is he talking about? The Jesuits, the Roman Catholics, those who are in power and authority who are mistreating humanity. Not all and not everybody who's pale skinned is from Europe. No matter what everybody trying to tell you, Europe is not the place for all pale skinned people. And for you Taj lovers, which is cool, even Taj teaches you that the so-called pale skinned brothers and sisters were created here in America in the Yucatan. So they were Americans too. Just saying. Anywho, because a lot of people, they don't think. They hear it and they just run with it, right? It's stated that before the Europeans came here, I don't even believe in that, so we're going to keep it moving. Drelly says the European will not be able to remove all the wealth from the land. After he goes back to Europe, mountains of gold would be revealed to the Moors, right? He said false. False what? You heard that and ran with it. Let me see. I'm not understanding. All right, so who is this? Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and cut this one here because you're not going to tell me what to do with my account. Bye-bye. Weirdos, yo. 100. Anywho, it says that the European is going to have to pay our people off for the work that they did in slavery and pay off in compound interest. Coolio, right? He says, one day the Europeans are going to lock up the food in warehouses, put soldiers around them to guard them, and you will go anywhere he says to get something to eat. Mind you, we have Negropeans out there too. Right? People are bugged out. All right. Right? People are bugged out. All right, let's see here. He says, I am going to leave the European here just long enough to teach you how to run a government. So now, after everything I just said in the negative, right, that Ali was expressing, we now have a positive expression from the Europeans. He's telling us to observe them. Well, if they're all bad, observe them. Well, if they're all bad, why would we be observing them? If they're all such bad people, why would we be observing them? Right? Just long enough to teach them how to run a government, right? Supposedly, he said that I've got the world, I've got the silver, and I've got the gold. Okay. He's just making statements out there for us to reflect upon. Here goes something to think about. If my principles are carried out, the United States will be the richest and most prosperous country on the earth. If not, the worst is yet to come. So now I know where that's actually at. All right, so now so the act of our no. Shows us how to run government. Awesome. Government. Awesome. Awesome. But you know what else teaches you how to run a government? Wise, concise, trustee handbook. The common law merchant, trustee handbook dealing with estates. That teaches you too, because government ain't nothing but trust to the states and accounting, bro. But anywho, I'm not gonna make it a habit to keep, interacting with what's being said on here on my feed. If you have anything that you know what, I'm not even gonna worry about that, because when I put that on TikTok or on YouTube, ain't none of that gonna show up. Please don't teach me. You teach yourself. You teach on your post, right? I'm here to teach what Noble Drew Ali brought. Okay, Treaty of Madrid and all that. That's great. Great information. Now take it and save yourself. Islam. I'm here to teach those who don't know any better, and I'm not here to give people so much information that they don't know where to start. Do you know what Noble Drew Ali talking about, bro? I'll bring you up here. We can talk. We can discuss Noble Drew Ali all day. You want to discuss Drew Ali, or you want to keep telling me about what you're telling me about? Because I'm bringing Noble Drew Ali's information to the people. I know I already have a state under internet. Okay. The biggest fool is the educated fool. Let your good deeds outnumber your bad deeds. And when you pass away, you won't have to worry about. Right? So that was just trust law. Drew Ali just told us. If you handle your estate affairs correctly, right, when you transcend your debtor estate, which is your personal estate, and your creditor estate, which is your real estate, right, will be passed on to you. Basically, you won't have to go through probate, is what Ali is talking about there. Here goes one. Drew Ali says to get yourself a good European education in this movement, and I can use you in this movement. That's a bold statement. That's a bold statement coming from a movement that some of its adherents are trying to tell you don't deal with the European. But Drew Ali's told us, go get that good Europe. Why would we get a good European education to be able to be utilized properly in the Moorish Divine National Movement? Because the more the European history is also Moorish history. The laws that the Europeans are using are the laws we're supposed to be using. But because we only know one side, because we only know this side of the ledger, we're at a disadvantage. So he's saying, get to know it all. Get to know it all. They'll show you both sides of the coin, right? And then you can come into this movement and help the people by offering your service as a businessman, right? And assisting humanity. Right? So, yes. I hear it. Okay. I read this yesterday too, but I'm just going to touch on this, right? Because I feel like it's very necessary for the newcomers. Not for the people who've been in the movement who are still trying to figure out what is and what ain't, right? This is for those who don't know and who would like to know. Those who would like to know. You know, my purpose, one of my purposes is to instill this information in those who don't know so that they can find their fellow brothers and sisters who may be Moorish American, right? And keep them upright. That's my purpose. That's one of my purposes. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't deal with hate. We're supposed to love, which is consideration. It's embracing, right? We're not supposed to hate, which is to reject, right? In Islam, it's to reject, right? In Islam, I can't force you to be or not be Muslim. Where was it? All right, yeah. So I'm going to point out who exactly it is, what group of people it actually is. I love you too, beloved. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to show you who exactly. Damn, I hate that it keeps cutting off like that. I'm going to show you who Drew Ali told us. I love you too, beloved. Islam. I love you too. Absolutely. We're going to find out who is it that was causing problems for the Moorish Americans. Who was it? We're going to find out. Was it the Europeans? I'm exposing this stuff because it needs to be exposed. Because we have a lot of Moors out there running around with misinformation. Because we have a lot of Moors out there running around with misinformation. Yeah, there's a lot of false doctrine and foreign doctrine. Right? It's like a lot of these Moors don't even consider what Drew Ali left. So, as a matter of fact, let me see. Well, y'all can't really see it. But I'll show y'all this, right? So this is in the Moorish literature, if you're ever able to get your hands on it. Number 10, a divine warning by the prophet for the nations. This is what actually assisted me. This and maybe 2 other articles, right, that I was able to interpret the lingo of that time to today. And I followed it to get this here, right? That's how I know that this stuff works. You feel me? Because I've used it myself. Thank you all for the love. So we're going to find out in his closing, 2 paragraphs. In his closing 2 paragraphs, we're going to see who exactly it is who's causing mischief for the Moorish Americans, okay? And I, the prophet, do herein believe that this administration of the government. So first and foremost, he's talking about these Europeans administrating their government. And he said he's all in line with it. So I, the prophet, do herein believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good, but have always harmed them, right? So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud. No, I don't know why people are. Excuse me. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens. Hold on, let me stop right there. So he's talking to all true American citizens, right? And before I go a little farther, right, I'm going to pinpoint who he's talking to. If Italians, Greeks, and English Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians All right. But I'm glad that again it was able to allow me to resume. All right. All right. He's calling on all true American citizens. If the Italians, Greeks, and English, Europeans, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians, Asians, are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion, so they're proclaiming their nationality. For you Moorish Americans out there. Before the constitutional government of the USA. So not by the consulate, right? Not by RVB. No, 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 no. You proclaim your nationality, your national name, which like mine is Pennsylvania, you know what I'm saying? And religion, which is Islam, right? Before the government of the USA. Y'all see it? United States of America. This is where he's telling you to do it, right? He says, then it is no more than right that the law, Allah, should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. North Africans, etc. So he's telling us that there's only one way to do it and that everyone must do it the same way. All right. So I am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me remove this great sin of not being a state citizen, of being stateless, of not identifying with the state, because the state and the man, or the man and the nation, it's free national standards that make a man and a nation, right? He's telling you that's the sin. By becoming to being identified as a statesman or as a national, right? You are removing the great sin of debtorship, right? By balancing the scale with your creditor. So I now have a personal estate person and a real estate person. I'm balanced on the scales. My credits equal debits. Right? All right. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me. So he's begging niggas. Because a lot of these Moors like, you help me. He's fucking begging the people. Please come help me. Please come help me, because these niggas. Anywho. All right. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me remove this great sin which has been committed, which has been being committed and is being practiced by my people in the that is being practiced by my people in the United States by allowing themselves to be deemed as black, which means debtor. That's what it means. It just means debtor. You know what I'm saying? One who's not standing upright. He's bent over at the mercy. But when you stand upright, you have clean, white, pure status. Right? Okay. It is being practiced by my people in the United States of America because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them. Socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition, acting as black nationalists, identifying as Negroes, identifying as American Indian, being other than what they. It's the same thing that happened to the pale skin Yahudi people. That it happened to the pale skin Yahudi people because they were imitating the people they weren't. That's what we got going over here. But what happened to them people over there? Their grandparents and our both of our ancestors are ashy as hell. Anyway, this is an ashy as hell. Anywho, little joke. Third Reich. Not even stock for long. Wallah. But anywho, let's go in. He says, because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding, they have fallen from the true light in the utter darkness of sin, because sin is dead. So true light is creditorship. You know what I'm saying? And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world, and they will not refrain from their sinful actions and their deeds. Hear me. Brought Jim Crowism, brought segregation. Now, mind you, these are things that we're trying to get away from. But you got these Moors out here teaching segregation. But Drew Ali's telling us that this is the problem that y'all just keep presenting to the world, right? He says their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. So it's these people. It ain't got nothing to do with the Europeans. Ain't no Europeans doing anything dirty. It's them. It's them constantly dealing with division. You're acting like you're better than somebody. You're acting like the Yahudi people who think they better than somebody. This is very, very important, this last part. It says, and they fought, as so-called blacks, right? And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. And they fought the South for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and have examined the conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to all nations. To all nations that live the life. It's called the life because it's for everybody. Whether it is Islam, Hinduism, Yahudism, Yahuism, whatever. Whatever the ism may be, the ism can be taught through any religious scripture. And they're all teaching the same thing. Or supposed to be. Right? Drew Ali told us that it is through segregation and Jim Crowism and whatnot. And these are the things that we bring about by our actions that cause disgrace, disrespect, and dishonor. Not just to them, but to all nations that live the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens. Look, so he's calling on the Europeans. He's calling on the Asians. He's calling on the Africans. If there are any Australians in the mix, he's calling on them. If there is anyone from Antarctica, I'm just saying, calling on them. If there are people already here in America, they're calling on them. Yo, come help me get their minds right and bring them back to solidarity and uniformity, oneness. Help me bring them back to Tawheed. Back to As-Sirat al-Mustaqim. الصراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Bring these niggas back, man. Help me. Drew Ali is he's help me. Let me see. Mystery of people gather in merry minds and thought. God will bring absolutely, beloved. Absolutely, Paul. Paul Apostle. I ain't a fan of Paul, but I ain't mad at Paul. I'm more like Peter, though. I'm the rock. I'm tall. Jupiter. But anyway, absolutely. The power is in unity, solidarity. One voice means everyone has come together and agreed to sound off on one cause. They've come together for one cause. And so that one cause is one voice. All of them people attest to it, right? He says, and I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and for finances. So he's telling us, this is a thing that needs to be, everyone needs to come together and help everyone so that we can show these people, right, that they're not alone, right? Yet, like I'm bringing up in this whole thing, is that we have foreign doctrine. Not un. Imperfect concepts. Now, the ism, which is the doctrine, wherever it comes, whether it be Islam, whatever, it teaches that all is one. This is the 7 Hermetic principles. All is mental, right? All is one. The mind is whatever and whatnot. That's what we stand on. So if it's not teaching that, then it is imperfect. And you have a lot of foreign doctrine that's telling you, hey, you're a creditor, but they're not. You're God's chosen, but they're not. What? Some dare go so far as to try to say that some people, you have humanity, or you have humankind, and then you have mankind. Drew Ali used mankind for everybody, and he used humanity for everybody. So again, for all of you Moors out there, right, who suppose it, like the brother who I had to block and whoever else, right, who like to go out here and, try to teach that some people are okay and other people aren't, and that's based on what, skin tone or, lands of origin. That's foreign. That's foreign to the universe. What does it mean to be Muslim? In whatever religion that you deal with, there is a word or a concept that is applicable, right, or translatable, whatever you want to call it, to Muslim. What does it mean to be Muslim? Oh, where is that at? Oh, no, that might be the one that dropped, huh? Yeah, all right, well, we'll use this. So that we can demystify, right? And we can learn to meet everybody, right, on the level. Right? We can have religious tolerance and unity. According to your religion, according to your language, I'm going to use English. All right. So, all right. Muslim. All right. It's not even, can't even really see all that. Can you see that? No, not really. I'm Neo. Muslimun. All right. Muslim. And by the way, I'm just letting you know that whether it is MOSLEM or MUSLIM, it's the same expression, okay? When you're talking with me, because the other people will tell you other stuff. Looks like there's a mark on the. Oh, that's on my phone. I was like, why that shit? But anyway, you hear other people try to argue that these are different. I'm telling you that one, these people who are telling you this don't know anything about Arabic whatsoever. Whatsoever. They would not know what this word means right here. They would not know what this means. Okay? And just in general, like, they don't know what the fuck they mean at all. Anywho, let me back this up, son. What is that? Okay. All right. So it means peacemaker. Right? We know the Native Americans love to use this one. They're peacemakers. Right? Right? They've got what? I want to get the right name, but they use Hiawatha, also known as Ayanwata or Alianwata, right? And the Hebrews say Hayawasha, Hayawata. It's all the same. Anywho, peacemakers, okay? Unifiers, unifiers. Well, what's another? What? How can we also express this word? Union members. A Muslim is a union member. Okay. Creditor, issuer. Yeah, here we go. Principal. Here goes one. Professional. I'm the professor. You understand me? Professional. Professional what? Citizen. Regardless. There you go. Citizen. Right? Do-gooders. Not wrongdoers, but do-gooders. Right? These are just some of the terms. Messenger audio call. I don't know who it is and I'm busy. Hold on. Whatever. Whatever. All right, well, this phone is acting retarded, but whatever. So these are just some of the words that we can use. Now, there may be words in other languages. Oh, here goes another one. Well, right. I said I was going to write it in English. Praiseworthy servant. Not just any servant, just any, but a master servant, a businessman, someone who's in honor, right? This is Muhammad Abdul, right? Rasul would be like professor, right? There we go. A law abider, law enforcer. So the word Muslim, right? Not Muslim. Just telling y'all, because again, a lot of these people who try to speak the Arabic language or tell you about it, they don't know it. they really don't know it. So a Muslim, right? Muslim, right? Not Muslim, because it has a whole other meaning, right? It means peacemaker, union member. So if you're a union member, that means you pay your dues. I'm a union member and I pay my dues every 10 years. I pay up every 10 years. Right? Creditor, issuer, principal. Principal what? Principal creditor. Also known as exclusive creditorship. You know what? Here we go. Liable party is another one. Flag for hate speech. Here we go. So I got flagged for hate speech. I don't really care. If y'all would definitely go into my link in my bio, right? If you're hearing me out now, and find my YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube. I think I might need like 3-4 more individuals, and then I'll be able to go live on there. And I won't even be here on TikTok. Promise you. Promise. Right? So liable party is another word. And equitable owner is another one. This is what that word Muslim means. Okay? It's funny how I got flagged for hate speech for pointing out the fact that other people are hating. But whatever. All right, with that, I'm going to get off the line now. I hope that I have helped you, right, in revealing and hopefully making more understandable whatever Noble Drew Ali was teaching, right, and whatever those like myself, there's very few like myself, though, to be honest. But those like myself, you're most welcome, love, are teaching. So I appreciate you all for stopping in. Again, if you missed the beginning of this, you could definitely go to my YouTube, right? In about an hour or so, right? catch the beginning of this. And all of my recordings that I do here on TikTok are uploaded to the YouTube channel. So you can check it all out, right? Peace, love, unity, solidarity, right? Harmony, right? I love everybody. It just be some people's character I can't get down with. Islam. Most welcome.